In this video, you guys are going to see a massive text game transformation. How a guy went from being a total beginner who was being left on red and sending cringy texts to ultimately leveling up his text game, being able to get a girl straight over his place in less than 24 hours. And you guys are going to see all the screenshots from start to finish. So these combos belong to one of our mastermind members, and here are his before messages. Let's take a look. So the girl just messages him on Bumble. He's like, I can't believe you're doing your PhD. What do you specialize in, doctor? She doesn't respond. So he waits, I guess, less than a day and says, yo, genius, are you actually smart? Probably not the question I would ask, because of course every girl's gonna be like, yeah, what are you trying to say? She's like, psychology, of course, and it's obvious. If you have an assumption about that, try to ask yourself. He says, I never ask because I know my answer. They compare me to Einstein sometimes. Can you psychoanalyze me? Again, not a question I would ask a girl. She says, haha, sure, my favorite activity. He sends her a voice memo. She says, haha, and then says something plain to chose. And he says, wow, so specific. What if I said, hey, doctor, are you a cutie? How do you respond to that? So the issue here is this is just kind of corny, right? This is just kind of try hard and corny. It's like, yeah, what is he going here? He's kind of jumping threads a little bit too much. Let's take a look at an example that's even worse than this. So this is Tinder, and he messages the girl, says, you look like ice cream. Not really even sure what kind of an opener that is. And then she doesn't respond, so he waits a little bit and he says, you're quite the conversationalist. Actually, that's not a bad text. She says, I am quite. And then he says, so do you watch your famous Turkish shows? I guess he's referencing her bio. She says, I'm not Tunisian. I'm Tunisian, not Turkish. And then he says, I just realized their flags are so similar. Yeah, it's like, who gives a shit? Like, you don't have to share everything that goes on in your brain. And then she doesn't respond, so he follows up with, want to be my traveling buddy? Also, is that emoji a woman that just got out of the shower? Haha. And you can see he's using too many like LOLs and ha-has and emojis. She says, what emoji? No, it's at the spa. And then he just randomly says, let's run away together. And she says, would love to. And then he tries to sexualize here, but it doesn't work. He says, perfect, but first I have to make sure you behave. And she doesn't respond. So overall, you can see his pre-mastermind text game is pretty poor. Now, let's compare that to one of his recent conversations. So take a look at this. He opens to the girl, can I be honest? She's like, well, I'm scared, shoot. And she's being more receptive, and that's because he simply improved his photos as well. He says, you look like the perfect mix of cute and trouble. She says, I'm more of a trouble than a cutie, that's for sure, or I wouldn't be single at 33. He says, that's my favorite ratio, just hope you have some of the things I go crazy for. So he's kind of baiting her into basically sexualizing the conversation, which is the correct way to do it. And what are those things? I certainly don't want you to lose your time. And he says, being feminine and submissive, but with a wild side, soft lips, and possibly a nice booty. And then she's like, sounds like me. And basically you would kind of craft this message to fit the girl. So for example, if she doesn't have an ass, like you're into like flat girls, but she's tall, you could say nice legs or something like that. You get the gist of it. And then he says, I like it. So how's the Facebook dating life treating you? Because this was from Facebook dating. She says, I didn't date that much lately. I was a bit sick of those bad dates. No interesting men. They're always selling themselves on the app, but in real life, maybe they think the same of me though. And so here he sends the right text. He says, sorry to hear that. Perhaps we can improve your experience. And then here she bites on that. She says, perhaps, what do you do tonight? So this is good. It's a buying question. It's like, yeah, like, what are you doing tonight? Maybe I want to hang out. He says, imagine this. You come over or I come over. We talk over a few drinks and get to know each other. We have amazing chemistry, vibe, laugh, build more chemistry. Eventually the attraction is undeniable. And the attraction is so high. I pin you against the wall and grab a fistful of your hair. Now look, I'm not perfectly the biggest fan of this message, but it undeniably works quite often, actually. I see this. And so she says, that's what is most likely to happen. So you come to mine or I come to yours. Bam. Like, she is sold, right? And again, when you demonstrate sexual authority and the girl thinks like, yeah, you know, like, I think this guy's gonna not be lame and I think he's probably gonna fuck the shit out of me, girls are gonna be a lot more incentivized to meet up. And he says, my roommate is having people over, let's go to yours instead. She says, deal. And then, which area are you in? Area, perfect, let's do 9. And here's just logistics, a bit of a delay, it'll be 9:30. And yeah, so he's here, she's like 3 buzz, and he's like, that was fire. And she's like, that was swift, but you did a good job. Interesting reply back. And then here he says, and you were great at being a moaning mess for me. Shoot me your number so we can get off this app. But yeah, this is the massive difference. There's nothing here that's actually corny or cringy. He's able to control the flow of the conversation. He's able to sexualize in an effective way. And ultimately, most importantly, he's able to get this girl to meet up for sex, and he's able to even get himself invited to her house. All right, hope you guys found this video valuable. And if you want to know your dating results like this guy, then check out our highly rated course. Link is going to be in the description. It also gets you access to our exclusive mastermind group where I help people every single day for hours with all their dating related questions. So make sure you check that out as well. Thank you guys for watching. Until next time.